I'm just outside of Birkenhead Lake, outside of Darcy, British Columbia. This is the Felix Creek Road. It becomes a lot more primitive after a little distance. I had to stop here because some of the stream channels they cut into the road were a little bit too high clearance for my little car. So I'm going to bike it up several kilometers to the end of the road and eventually get to the Waddington Hut. And then there's also a peculiar mystery towards the end of this road, the disappearance of Marshal Iwaasa. Very orange creek. Come out of a soda spring or something. Okay, so I made it a couple hundred meters from where they have the trailhead closed off. I mean, you can still drive up this way, but this location right here is where the case of Marshal Iwaasa takes place. 26-year-old guy from Lethbridge, Alberta, in the southern part of the province, and he went missing from that area, and then several days later a group of hikers found his vehicle right at this exact spot. It was a pickup. It was all torched up and there was no trace of him to be found. And this was back in 2019, I believe. I don't have internet, so I can't confirm. But as far as I know, he has not been found. And I don't know if he was either checking out of society, burned his vehicle up and just disappeared here, or if it was foul play. I can't help but think that it could be crime, drug related. But they did not remove his vehicle until 2023, so a few years afterwards. But here you could just still see remnants of metal scraps, just charred pieces. So this was the exact spot. And as far as I know from reading up, Marshall had absolutely no connection to the Pemberton area. So how he wound up here is just an absolute mystery. I suspect that if it was foul play, he was murdered, his body discarded somewhere nowhere near here, and then somehow to really confuse law enforcement, whoever it was, took his vehicle here and lit it on fire and then left the scene. Okay, we got the bike chained up. Right by the crime scene. And then from here, just gotta jaunt up a few kilometers up the valley and then hook a left up the side valley to get to the Waddington Hut. So I climbed up a substantial amount of elevation gain. Almost at the lake. Coming into these little open heather meadows. So here's the lake. You can see the hut across the other side there. And then Mount Shadowfax, I believe, is the tall peak behind it. This hut is maintained, I believe, by the Varsity Outdoor Club. I've had contact with them before for some of the other huts in this area. They're based out of the University of BC. It's always weird how it's warm outside, but inside here it's just very pleasant temperature. Survey map. We'll go ahead and climb up to the loft. Oh, there's the money box. No boots upstairs. Alright, I'll take it off. Well, they must be still tidying up. There's really nothing, no cots or anything up here. Extra firewood. I guess the hut's currently closed. Bear population. much dialogue in this video. I don't really need to say much. So now I gotta descend about 1,000 feet down, get back towards the hut, cut along the lakeshore, and then take the main trail back down. And far off yonder there you could see Joffrey Peak and Mount Mattier. You hear the marmots whistling everywhere. So what do you do? Are you retired or are you? Okay. That's nice.
Province civil service.
Okay.
I think the majority of time, most of my time is spent in helping services.
Must have been trying to think of what would be in that direction. Is it Harrison Lake? Yeah. What was your name? Ed? Okay. But my name's Will.
Will?
Yeah, so.
So how far, oh, you haven't decided how far you're going?
Well, I'll probably make it back down, and then it'll probably be dark by that point.
Is
And then,
your car cap at the trailhead, or do you?
yeah, I can recline my seat back, and it's really spacious and all that.
What kind of car?
It's a little Honda Fit.
Okay.
So yeah.
You know, I pull the seats out of my RAV when I go on a longer trip, the back seats. They are on a platform. I have a cooler. I'm good for weeks, and I love it.
Yeah, that's how
I mean, I thought about getting a bigger RV, and I just don't want the hassle. You had no trouble with the wet bars with your Honda Fit?
It's just, you know, where they channel out to let the streams, like there was some that were just trenched too deep, and I was just afraid of bottoming out.
There was one that I had to have a second look at, past where the Matrix was parked.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There was a big one, and I took me 2 or 3 tries at that one before I kind of figured out where to go.
Right. Yeah, no, it was like, I think I'll just, I have my bike in the back seat, so I just assembled it, and then so I have it parked right at the trailhead here, and then hopefully it'll just be a nice
I love doing that too.
breeze. Yeah.
Yeah, I've gone places where the FSRs are pretty darn in good shape, and you can cycle to the trailhead and do a lot in a day.
So,
Take care.
all right, take care, Ed. I really wish I could have stayed here. I should have brought my tent and all that. But I gotta keep a move on and start moving eastwards out of the coast mountains. But it is nice to be back in this area. Huckleberries are absolutely massive. This might be the biggest one I've seen yet.